And obviously those numbers were huge, but there were also some problems at the polls, and that's playing out right now.
Yes, there definitely were. Channel 3's Roger Suzanin has been talking with voters and keeping an eye on what's happening across the state. And Roger, last time we checked in with you, people had just stopped voting, and it was well after the 8 p.m. time limit.
Yeah, Aaron and Mark, a pretty wild night here in New Haven City Hall, where I am right now, and other communities across Connecticut. But right now, there is a dispute brewing between the gubernatorial campaigns tied to possible voting after that 8 o'clock deadline. And I can tell you, this dispute may be ended with input from lawyers, but it began right here in City Hall with a lot of passion. I want you to look and listen to this, first of all. Well, you can hear there folks that were first-time voters that were trying to register to vote were arguing that they should be given that right, but even though it was after that 8 o'clock deadline. Now, what ended up happening is that they eventually brought in a mass swearing in for first-time voters, and they allowed about 100 voters here in New Haven and another 100 in Mansfield to swear in and be registered and then vote immediately afterwards. But, you know, the Bob Stefanowski campaign has said that they will immediately file an injunction against those votes. They argue at this point that they should not be counted because they weren't registered and verified before that 8 p.m. deadline. And a mass swearing in simply does not cut it. Now, they have even scheduled a court hearing on the matter for this Friday if it is necessary. And this also impacts some voters in Mansfield. Again, about 100 that were in a similar situation. Many of the voters in New Haven are Yale students, and many of the voters in Mansfield are UConn students. The Secretary of the State's office has said the votes have already been separated and counted, and that although the Stefanowski campaign has a right to challenge them, it will not be necessary unless the race comes down to the 200 or so votes that are in question. And if that is not the case, obviously, in their view, it would be a moot point. We did talk to one of those first-time voters that was sworn in at the last second, and she hopes that the city, as well as other first-time voters, can learn a lesson from this debacle.
We need to get a handle on what's going on, and we can't get a handle on what's going on unless we all speak up.
And by the way, I did speak with the moderator at this polling place, and he says in retrospect it may have been a mistake to only have 2 registrar of voters employees registering folks throughout the day. Eventually they brought in some more help, but obviously they did not get everybody registered before that 8 o'clock deadline. Also, again, this case could go to court on Friday, according to the Stefanowski campaign, if this race stays razor thin. Reporting live tonight in New Haven, I'm Roger Suzanin, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.